Hello and welcome to the New York Times Hard Sudoku. The internet here in Vietnam is still suffering from the outage of about half of the 6 or 7 fiber optics cables running on the bottom of the oceans. They seem to always be out around this time of the year, but I can't explain why. You would have to write to someone up in Hanoi. In any event, I can't access the New York Times website from my laptop, so I went on 4G where I could access it immediately. Go figure. So I copied the grid over to the sudokuexchange.com website and I'll attempt to solve it here. The first thing I notice is that the 2 8s here and the 8 here force an 8 to go here. We got a 7 coming down here and a 7 coming down here, blocking here. This 7 blocks here, so this is a 7. So we got a 5 7 here, 5 7. Okay, they're not in the same box, so no, that is not going to give me anything, at least not now. There's a 6 coming over here and a 6 coming up here. So this is a 6, yes. And now one of these must be a 6, and one of these must be a 6 as well. There's an 8 running over here and an 8 coming down here, so this is an 8, isn't it? Yes, it is. Four digits missing here, a 3, 4, 5, and a 2. There's a 2 here and a 5 here, so this is a 3, 4. So one of these must be a 2, and therefore one of these must be a 2. One of these must be a 5, because we have these two 5s here, right? So I will be looking for 5s in these 3 squares here. This doesn't appear to be the easiest hard New York Times puzzle ever, because I'm struggling a little bit to find the next digit. But I think I found a 3, which I think must go here, because we need 1, 3, 5, 6, 9 for these empty squares here. And there's a 1, 5, 9 here. And we know that one of these must be 6 because I said so. Because we have a 6 here and here. So one of these must be 6. So back to this square, which now must be a 3. And that, along with the 2 here, 2 of these 3 squares now must be a 2 and a 3. This must be a 1 or a 5. We have got a 3 here, so this is a 1 or a 9 or a 5. We got a 1, 5 here, and so this is, let's see, yeah, one of these must be a 5. So this is all not really working out. But we do have an awful lot of givens, and we have some intersections that I want to look at. In particular, this row here and this square, because it's very limited. It cannot be a 1 and it cannot be a 2 either, because the 2 here guarantees a 2 in one of these 3 cells. So it cannot be a 2. It could be a 4, but not a 5, not a 6, not a 7, not an 8, and a 9. See? Caveman style. This is how we find a 4. And that doesn't really help me a lot. But let's see what the 4 find here gave us. That gave us a 4 here or here. And we also have a 3 here or here. So that is a 2 and a 5 here. This is now a 1 and a 9. Yes, so a 2 and a 5 here. And we got a 5 coming up here and a 5 coming over here. So one of these 3 is a 5. And still one of these 2 is a 5. So it's not really doing much for me. Yes, of course it is, because the 5 here blocks here. We know that these are 3s and 4s. So this is a 5. 3 and 4s. One of these will have to be a 9 then, and the other will have to be a 6. And we must put the 6 here and the 9 here. And remember how we said that these are 1 and 9? This now must be a 1 and this must be a 9. The last digit up here is a 1. And now we know which 3 digits go here, namely a 2, 5, and a 3. What does this buy me? 3, 4 here, 2, 5 here. What about across here? 2, 3, 5, 7. No, not yet. However, there's something going on with the 1s and 9s here, because the New York Times always has a theme. So these 3 cells here cannot be a 1 or a 9 because of these 2 digits. This cannot be a 1 or a 9 because of these 2. This cannot be a 1 or a 9 because of these 2. So these 2 have to be a 1 and a 9 remote pair. Does that give me anything in the remaining 5 squares, which needs to be a 2, 4, 6, 7, 8? This cannot be an 8 and this cannot be an 8, but this could. There's a 7 here going, so 8, 4. No, I don't see anything, but at least we know that these 2 have to be a 1 and a 9. But that gives me a 6. Can you spot it? A 6 blocks over here and a 6 blocks down here and a 6 blocks over here. So we've got all of these blocked, and this here is blocked too because it has to be a 1 or a 9. So this is a 6. And that makes one of these a 6. Now I have to look at these empty squares. They need to be a 2, 4, 5, 7, 9. So 7, 5 here, and there's a 7, 5 here, so, and the 2. So this is a 4 or a 9. This also, this also cannot be a 7. And this cannot be a 7. So this is a 7, isn't it? And that makes this a 7. And this is a 5, because I remember that one of these had to be a 5. And now we have a 5 coming up here and a 5 coming over here, making this a 5. And this is now a 5. And these have to be a 2 and a 3. There's a 3 in the row. So the 2 goes here and the 3 goes here, making this a 3. Is this what cracked this puzzle? Because I thought it was a little uphill until now. Another 1-9 pair here. And these have to be a 2 and a 6 now. We've got a 6 here, so this is a 2 and this is a 6. Right. So where are we now at? Well, we are at this little square and it needs to be a 2. These 3 have to be 1, 4, and a 9. Can we do anything else? Well, I could look at these one more time. They have to be a 2, 7, and a 6. There's a 2 now blocking here, and there's a 2 blocking here. So this here definitely is going to be a 2, making this a 2, and one of these must be a 2 now. And we were looking for a 6 and a 7 for the two other squares, and there's a 6 here, making this a 7 and making this a 6. Yes, seems like we are moving top to bottom in this puzzle before we went from right to left. So let me have another look at these squares here, a 2, 3, 4, and an 8. 2, 8, this is a 3, 4. 8, 8 must go here and here. A 2 must go here or here. No, I'm not any closer to that. 1, 3, 8, and a 9. We know that this is a 1, 9. This cannot be an 8, so one of these is an 8. But this is 5 blocking here and the 5 blocking here. So we know that this is a 5, and that makes this a 5. Make this a 2. And that makes this a 2 now, and this a 2. This is now a 4, 9, and this is a 4, 9. These three have to be a 4, 8, and a 7. There's a 7 in the row, so this is a 7, and therefore this is a 7, 4, 8 here, 3, 6, 9 here. There's a 3, 6 in the column. This is therefore a 9, making this a 9, making this a 1. This cannot be a 1 anymore now, therefore it's got to be a 4. These two must be a 1 and an 8. We have an 8 in the column, making this a 1 and this an 8. And I think we are cracking it now. So we don't really need to talk much about this. This is going to be a 9 here and a 4 here, just mobbing up. 4, 4 here and a 3 here, of course. This is a 3 and making this a 3. This one here is going to be an 8, making this an 8, and this must be a 9. Now we have this 9. This must be a 4, making this a 6, and this must be the final 3. I somehow felt that this puzzle was more difficult than it ought to have been, but I'll take it. And I hope that you enjoyed it as well, and that you'll come back for more soon. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.